Hi friends, I thought I would take some time to talk about watercolor paper with you guys. There are so many choices and I really think it can be confusing when you get into the store and just aren't sure what paper is the best. So I'm going to share some expensive papers and some more reasonably priced papers, and hopefully this will provide a guide for you. First, there's Arches paper, which I think most people would consider the best paper. It is very expensive, and it comes in blocks. It's very heavy. You can get it not in blocks, but the block allows you, I don't know if you can see, the paper is glued to a block and it's stuck around all sides. So when you first get your pad, there's a black sheet to protect the paper, and you need to remove that before starting to paint. The Arches is beautiful paper, but if you scan your artwork in, it's really hard to remove the texture. I don't know if you can see the texture. So I did this on Arches paper, and you can see the texture. Can you see it? Here is another example, these beach rocks, which looks beautiful, but if you want a smooth finish, it's kind of, you can remove it, it's just more difficult. So that is the Arches cold press regular. Okay, then there's the Arches tough grain or rough grain, and it is more textured, so it gives a beautiful finish, but it's very, I don't know if you can see, it's even more texture than the other paper. So this is great if you want to use tons of water and tons of colors. It really kind of soaks up the paint and is wonderful to work with. I do like how it looks, but for my purposes, when I want to scan stuff in, it's just kind of hard. I was trying to find another piece I did with that, but anyway. Okay, here is an example of hot press, and hot press is very smooth paper. It is not forgiving with lots of water. Here I have a piece I can show you. These were done on this paper, and you can see it's very smooth. It's great for botanical illustration, but the paper is really smooth. And you can't really draw too much on it or erase on it because it's very delicate. So just know that. Okay. This paper I got just to have fun with. It is cold press black, and I think it would look wonderful with hand lettering. I played with putting Kuretake colors, which the shimmer I think looks really cool, so you could do some maybe night scenes with that. I do have a paper that I did with gouache, which is a thicker paint. So that was just for fun, just trying it out. So that gives you an idea of what that paper looks like. This Strathmore is another cold press paper, but it's not as textured. So I found it great for doing some shells and botanicals, especially if I wanted to scan them in and make them into cards. I'll show you what see, I have some color charts in here. Hang on. These are color charts. Oh, these are just me trying to, this is a butterfly. The nice thing is it's bound, so, you know, you can keep your work together. Here's a color wheel. If you guys are interested in a video on a color wheel, let me know, because I'm happy to do that. Just more colors. But here are some examples of paintings that I've done on this paper. So, and then that's a Brussels sprout. If you're just starting out, you might want to try the Fabriano postcards. They're great. They come, bound. Um, and I love just taping them down the edges. So, hang on. So they look like this. I shared this tutorial on my blog, the birch trees. I also love doing seascapes. So that gives you some idea. There is a lot of texture, so if you scan it in, you will see it, but sometimes that looks nice, especially when it's like a whole scene. This year, I've decided I wanted to kind of more document what I'm doing. Um, for the longest time, I bought this for a year and hadn't painted in it, and I was so worried about it. I still have to do more. I was kind of worried I was going to ruin the book. I know that sounds so funny, but sometimes having a book like this, it's good to see your growth. So I haven't really painted too much in it. But the pages are really nice and thick, and there is texture, but not too much, so you can, paint right on. You can stick things on. It also has a nice hard backing, so you can take it on the go. So I was thinking about taking this to the beach with me. Here's another example of kind of a workbook. I'm using this when I do classes. You can see here, this was a class on painting texture that it was with Skillshare. So here are some textures. I usually leave the other page, just white. I guess I could write notes in it. Some snowdrops. Here's more practice. Then this was my first attempt at eggs, and they were too pointy. And there's a second attempt. So it's nice to see like a progression in your work, I think, when you have a book. But this is the paper I mostly use because I'm scanning in my work to create patterns and cards and wallpaper and home decor elements. So the Canson watercolor paper is 140 pounds and it's cold press, but the texture is very, I don't know if you can see, it's very minimal on it. And it's white, it's bright white. Sometimes other papers are not white, and that makes it really hard to scan. So here are some examples of pieces that I've done on this paper. Pansies. This is just practice. I've turned this into cards and wall art. These flags are cards and wall art. And then this is just an example of me playing. I like using this paper because it's affordable, and I also feel like, I'm not wasting the paper. So I hope this gave you guys some ideas and some guidance on what to look for in paper and maybe what might suit you and your painting style and how you're using your paintings. Thanks.